it used to make me feel so bad where I'm like, oh, a 4X, but then I like, as I realized, like even my, you know, very small friends who are like extra smalls are still fitting into mediums and larges. So it made me feel like, okay, so the sizing isn't just me.
Hey there, plus size nerd. Today I am talking with two absolutely beautiful Elsa cosplayers. Thank you so much for joining me today, Matt and Dark. You can find both of them on Instagram, and those links will be in the description below. But before we get into the nitty-gritty of their costumes and their cosplay, I'd love to know from both of you how you got started. Like, what inspired you to take this big step into the cosplay world? Matt, we'll start with you.
Okay, so I started cosplaying about 5 years ago. Sorry, I just keep thinking about it. I really enjoyed this show. It's about robotic monkeys, cybernetic monkeys. It was an old cartoon show on Jetix. It's called Super Robot Monkey Team Hyperforce Go. It's a very long title, but I fell in love with it. It's very silly. It's very like monkeys fighting crime, which is something hilarious and endearing. And so I was in love with that show, and I had a friend who cosplayed one of the characters, and I decided, hey, I want to do it. So I took a bunch of t-shirts, ripped them up, and sewed them by hand together to make my first costume. And when I put it on for the first time, I was like, no, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Oh, that's so cool. And so was there a group of you then that went as these monkeys?
No, she's from New Zealand. We had met in person, but she was living in New Zealand at the time. And so I was just really in love with her cosplays, and I wanted to like do the same thing. I thought it was really cool that people could dress up and just be themselves, but like also be the character. And I just really wanted to do that too.
I give you serious props for your first cosplay out of the gate, like ripping up t-shirts and sewing it. That's huge, because if I did a cosplay, my first step would be Amazon.com. That's what I would do.
Well, I was like what, 15, 16 years old, and I didn't have a job or a debit card, so I didn't even think about Amazon.
Yeah.
I was just like, this is what I'm going to do.
That is great. How about you, Dark?
Well, I fell in love with Harley Quinn like ages ago, but when Suicide Squad came out, I decided, why not dye my hair blonde and pink and blue and just go as her at the premiere. And since it's not that common in Sweden to go to a premiere in cosplay, but for that movie, it was so many people. And it was kind of fun because this Joker came up to me and he's like, Harley. And I was looking at him and I was like, who the hell is he talking to? And he's like, Harley, you look radiant. And he had a Harley with him and she was so pissed. Ooh! So yeah, she was super pissed at him. But since I got that attention, I was like, I need to check if I could like be Harley all the time. So yeah, I went on YouTube and found all the cosplays.
Oh, that's fantastic. And so then did you keep wearing Harley after that to other things?
Yeah, I went at the Fantastic Beast premiere as Harley, and they asked me if I was on the wrong movie. They were like, why are you here? And I'm like, I like dressing up, okay?
Hey, they're both Warner Brothers, right? So who cares?
Yeah, exactly. But, you know, they thought it was weird having, like, the tattoos and everything. And they're like, what are you doing? And I felt like, yeah, that's okay, though.
That is awesome, because there are a lot of people who, like, that might have shut them down, or they might have taken a step back. More props to you too I love that you had like the courage to be like, step back, man, I'm having a great time and this is fun. I love that.
Well, it was awesome. I mean, being in cosplay, and just Suicide Squad Harley, she's wearing so tiny clothes. So I was like, oh, I'm never gonna wear the shorts or everything like that. So, but here I am.
That's right. Wow, that's fantastic. So, Dark, how did you, like, how has your process changed over the years putting together your costumes? Do you shop? Do you, make stuff, or is it a combo? What do you do?
I make some stuff, but not much stuff because I have troubles making stuff. But I alter stuff and buy them. I buy them and alter them. Like this wig I made at. It was a pain in the ass.
Wow, good job.
It took several hours.
Ooh.
But I mean, I just buy stuff right now. Yeah. I'm like seeing a new Harley Quinn cosplay I want to do. I just like, oh, I need to check out how much that is. And seeing a new Elsa, it's like, oh my God, I need to be that Elsa. And
that is the beauty of today's world, because I'm going to say even 5 years ago, you couldn't find, costumes or costume pieces like you can now. Certainly not, like 8 years ago. There was nothing available. So I think it's fantastic that we live in a world now where we can order that and just have a great time. So I'm with you there. I'm like you. I can't sew. So Matt, though, do you sew, or is it a combination?
I do a combination for, sorry. When I first started cosplaying, obviously I found scraps of fabric and I worked together things, or I found pieces from Goodwill and like modified them. But as I've gotten older and as my skill level has increased, I've sewn whole costumes and things like that. But I still love to buy costumes because sometimes you look at like, I don't know, like an Elsa dress with like a bunch of beautiful, like intricate detailing, and you say, I don't really want to make that. So I do a combination of them. It just depends on the costume and how much I feel like making it. Sometimes I really want to make it, but then it just doesn't work out for me. And I really love, when I was younger, like you said, like finding costume pieces was hard, 5-6 years ago. For me, and I'm sure you guys can relate, like finding plus size cosplay pieces is even harder.
Oh yeah, it's super
can't
hard.
fit into like a one size. I would always search a ton of sites, and I think as now cosplay's coming more like mainstream, I think it's way easier to go out and find certain pieces that fit for once.
Matt, is there a particular store or online or in real life that you like to go to find good plus size pieces?
I use AliExpress, which can be a hit or miss. It just depends on the certain stores in there. I know Sky Costume is a store that, I mean, it's not an AliExpress store, but they do either custom sizing or plus sizing. Asian sizing, because a lot of these come from China, is super duper small. This, I mean, I'm usually like an extra large, occasionally 2X, and this is like a 3X, and sometimes I don't even fit into the 3X sizes, which clothing sizes are something else. But so
all three of us are familiar with the problems with plus sizing.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, this is like 6XL, and I'm not that, so.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It used to make me feel so bad where I'm like, oh, a 4X, but then I like, as I realized, like even my, very small friends who are like extra smalls are still fitting into mediums and larges. So it made me feel like, okay, so the sizing isn't just me, it's just a warped, like tiny scale sizing. So.
That is a great deduction on your part, because I don't know about, probably a lot of plus size women had the same experience I did growing up, where I did feel like there was something wrong with me if I had to go to an XL or a 16 or whatever it was. And it wasn't until I was an adult that I was able to kind of flip that perspective and say, no, there's nothing wrong with me. They're not getting their sizing right, you know? And so I have a daughter, and as she would try on clothes, I would say the same thing to her, like, you're great. They need to figure their stuff out.
So I'm trans, so I grew up with women's sizing, but I realized how small women's sizing is when I started flipping my wardrobe from like a female, I mean, clothing doesn't have gender, but you know, making it from more feminine to more masculine. I'm way smaller in men's sizes, and I never understood why I was so smaller. I could fit into like mediums and larges, and like extra large and 2X are like big and comforting, like oversized stuff. When like in women's sizes, I had to be at an extra large or a 2X to even fit in the clothing, and still sometimes I felt so uncomfortable because it was super tight. So I've noticed that, especially as of the last couple of years.
That is very interesting. Just another example of the patriarchy keeping us down.
Making us feel bad.
How about you, Dark? Like, what's your favorite store, or do you hop around?
AliExpress.
Yeah, okay.
And Amazon.
Now,
I bought this at Amazon.
Oh, is it? Wow.
Yeah, I was like, I ordered one dress from, I think it was Wish, and it was like supposed to be like 5XL, and I was like, oh, I have to fit in that. And then I got it, and it was see-through, and I mean, I did not fit in it, and I would never go in a cosplay like that. And then I saw a person at con wearing that dress, and I was like, oh my God, I can see everything on you.
Oh, wow. Do you find, are you able to return things easily to Wish or to AliExpress, or is shipping like crazy long with those?
No, I never return them. I'm like, my friend calls me the refund queen because I always get a refund, but I always get to keep the clothes.
You are a queen. I think we need some tips there, because that never works for me. I always have to send it back. You must really like raise a riot or something.
Well, you know, I usually find like the fault with them. Like I was gonna do wedding Harley, so I bought a wedding dress and it was a little bit ripped, and I got a full refund on that.
Wow. I think I need to start complaining more. So wedding Harley, I don't think I've seen a wedding Harley. Have you done that one?
No, I haven't done it yet. I have like 2 wedding dresses. One is smaller because I was planning on losing weight. Then I got pregnant. But yeah.
Congratulations.
But I have this one. It's like 6XL, I think it is. And I mean, it falls off me. So it's too big. So I don't know. It's the smaller one that is too small. Or it's the bigger one that looks like, I don't know, a tent on me.
Will you be altering that one maybe?
Yeah, maybe. It depends on like if my fiance wants to do like wedding joker or something.
Oh, that would be so great. Oh my gosh. Now, you two obviously cosplay as Elsa. I would love to know like why you chose her or what drew you to her character. We'll start with you, Dark.
Well, I love that she was independent and she didn't need a man to rescue her like all the other Disney princesses. I do love the Little Mermaid, so, but she still needed a man. But Elsa, she's just her own person and she has her powers, and I kind of related to that because she had to hide her powers, and I needed to hide my diagnosis when I was little because I didn't know about them, but I needed to like fit into the society and everything, and it didn't work for me, and it didn't work for her.
Yeah.
Because she had to hide her powers, and then she just like, when she let it go, it was like she finally felt free, and I felt free when I decided to not give a crap about what anybody thought about me.
Do you mind if I ask, what was the diagnosis?
I got ADD and Asperger's.
Ah, so you felt like you had to hide that or people would label you?
Well, I didn't know when I was a child, but I knew that I was different. And now I understand why I was different, but I didn't know that then, so I just copied everybody else.
Uh-huh.
So I would never like, when I was little, I would never like dress so people would like notice me. I was always like in the little wall.
Oh, that's incredible, I have to say, because now you're certainly not dressing so people. Okay, let's just take a step here. Let's take a step back and say you went from dressing so people wouldn't pay attention to you to showing up at a Fantastic Beasts premiere dressed as Harley Quinn and telling everybody else to back off. I mean, that is an amazing journey.
Well, I also went as Elsa in a shopping mall, and I could see everybody's looking at me, and the children was looking at me. I just wanted to take photographs with the Winterland.
Oh, that's wonderful. But don't you find probably that when people see you, it makes them happy? I mean, who doesn't love Elsa?
Sometimes it depends where I go, but I did dress up for the Frozen 2 premiere, and it took a while, but a little child came up to us when we were at the parking lot, and my fiance was Olaf, and we were just getting like dressed down. I was taking off my wig and everything, and they were like, "Are you okay if we can take a picture?" "Oh, I see you're like undressing," and I'm like, "Oh, I can put it on again." So they did take a photo with us, and we were happy, and they were happy. So just one person can make a difference. Like the child was like beaming and like, "Oh my God, I met Elsa and Olaf." And I mean, nobody cosplays Olaf, so.
That's fantastic. Wow. All right. That's a lot to top, Matt, but I'm guessing you have a great story behind cosplaying as Elsa also.
So when I first saw the first Frozen movie, I really did like Elsa, obviously. I was very drawn to her as well. But my like want to cosplay her, my like love for her really didn't come until I saw the second movie. So when I went to go see it, I don't know, it was just watching her go from like being very scared and very shy and very introverted, which is how I am as well, and like seeing her in the second movie and not being that way and embracing herself and loving herself and kind of going through her own journey to discover herself was like very touching to me. Obviously I kind of feel the same way. I kind of relate to that as well, like learning about yourself and like really finding out who you are. It kind of dawns on you, and kind of in the way that it dawned on her as well. So I guess
did you have kind of a let it go moment or like a freeing moment?
I was going to say show yourself.
Yeah, I think my moment was show yourself. Obviously I was for a long time like I struggled with my gender, and so that's my cat. Yeah, she really likes boxes. But I really struggled with my gender, and I struggled to find myself, and for a long time I was very confused. And so like literally in like a moment or like a 30-minute span, I was just sitting by myself and thinking, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. Just like it's like somebody threw a water bottle at me and it was over. And I was like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be. And so I think it really sorry, I spilled water on myself. But I really think it kind of felt like the same, and maybe that's why I really related to that moment, and that moment was very powerful for me, and it very much impacted me.
That's fantastic. I give you a lot of credit because you're very young to come to that conclusion, and you seem really confident about it.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, that conclusion for me was 2 years ago, and I've never looked back or never regretted it.
Good for you.
It's you know, it's scary, but like I feel like it's what it's supposed to be.
Good for you. So what is your favorite part about cosplaying as Elsa when you're at cons or any other kind of event? Matt?
I really haven't. I got this costume. This is my first Elsa costume. So I got this costume during quarantine. So I really haven't had the chance. But recently, I decided to go with friends to a Spirit Halloween. And there were a bunch of little kids, and they were so excited. That's my favorite part about cosplaying, like recognizable characters. I mostly cosplay anime girls, and children, for the most part, don't really recognize them. But I occasionally cosplay Daisy from like Mario, and I've cosplayed Belle before, and I cosplay, obviously now I cosplay Elsa, and I just love seeing like children's faces light up. They look so excited. It's like joy, because I remember like when I was younger seeing like princesses or seeing people dressed up, it made me so happy. And so like I really love kind of bringing that joy to other people too.
Oh, that's so sweet. How about you, Dark? What's your favorite part about cosplaying as Elsa?
I think it is all the people. I mean, I had this girl, she was chasing down all the Elsa cosplayers at that con, and she's like, "I finally found you!" And I'm like, okay. But she was so happy that she got a photo with me, and just the kids are amazing. I mean, they light up when they're seeing Elsa, and even when they see Harley Quinn in those tiny shorts, they still light up, and they're like, "Oh, can I hold your gun?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, hold my gun." I mean, it's just like they get so happy, and it's just not just kids, it's adults too. It's like, I mean, Disney is so big, like people are just happy to see Disney characters walking around.
Yeah.
And we don't have Disneyland here, so they would probably like, "Oh my God, it's a Disney character."
Oh, that's so true. Why do you think, I'm going to ask both of you, why do you think cosplaying is kind of having a moment, kind of like exploding or becoming a little more mainstream than it used to be? Dark, I'll start with you. Why do you think it's becoming more popular?
I don't know, really. Maybe it is because they're coming so many characters and new people, like new characters to be, and now people cosplay like real people too, and it's like you can see like Lady Gaga walking a con, and I would be like, "Is she here?" But I don't know, really. I mean, cosplay is so much fun, so I don't blame them if they want to cosplay. I got my fiance into cosplay, so.
How about you, Matt? Why do you think it's kind of exploding right now?
I think a big part of it is like people are realizing how fun it is. Like we all, during Halloween, we all do the same thing, and we always do it, and we always have fun during it. I love dressing. I mean, I'm 21 years old, and I love dressing up as a character and running around in the streets, not caring, because it's Halloween. Why not? And I know a lot of people, especially my age at least, that are still the same way and still have that love for Halloween. And like, I feel like cosplay kind of brings that, but it's like amplified, where you can do it anytime, you can experiment, you can look different. I mean, cosplay is so versatile. I mean, I see, I go to meetups for characters or for shows, and there are like a ton of the same character, but they all look so different because everyone brings a very different piece to their costume. It doesn't matter who they are, but it's always unique to them, and I really love that. I love seeing people do that, and I think that's one of the reasons people really like it. They see that all these people can do it, and they're like, "Oh, that person looks slightly like me, maybe I can do it too," or that person, has the confidence to do it, maybe I can do it too. I think that's what really drew me in, and so I feel like it's the same for a lot of people. Like seeing my friends do it made me want to do it.
Yeah, I think there's been a huge shift, because for the longest time, if you didn't look like that character, the same size, shape, color, hair, what have you, people didn't feel like they could cosplay as that character. But I think now it's become so much more inclusive. And I absolutely love that about the cosplay world. Do you have like, over the years, do you have like a secret tip or something that you've discovered that helps you, you know, either in costuming or makeup or wigs or something that you wish you would have known 5 years ago when you started? Matt?
Just be narcissistic. That sounds so bad, but for a long time, I did lack the confidence to do it. I would look at other cosplayers who did the same thing, and I would get so discouraged because I was like, oh, I'm not as good as them. And so for me, I just basically, I guess I lied to myself for a while, and I was like, you're beautiful, you look great, you're amazing, you're the best. And it kind of, I know it sounds really weird, but it gave me this like sense of confidence to be able to do things that I like. And I also had a very good friend group that was around and that was like supporting me when I was down. A big thing for me, I'm sure makes sense, my size. Obviously I'm plus size. So that part made me, it made it very hard for me to look at myself and like myself. And so I also had plus size friends as well. And having them give me confidence and me kind of, I guess, lying to myself, because at the time I didn't believe it, helped me kind of realize, no, wait, I'm cute. I look good today. I think my makeup looks nice. My wig looks nice and things like that. As funny as it sounds, just being narcissistic really helps boost your confidence.
I love that. Self-talk is so huge. Your mind is so incredibly powerful. And I love that you lied to yourself for a while till you started to really believe it, because just changing that inner monologue can really make a difference on how you feel about yourself. That's wonderful. All right, Dark. So what have you learned cosplaying that you wish you would have known in the beginning?
Well, I wish I would have known that I would compare myself to other cosplayers, and like, since I started with Harley, I went into that community, and that community is toxic. Because people are so competitive when it comes to Harley. It's like, really? I'm the best. No, I'm the best. No, you copied me. We have the same outfit. Come on. I mean, and just
had no idea
know that I would get a lot of hate. I would have liked to know that I would have got that, but still, I wouldn't have changed anything with my cosplay, because just getting the confidence to wear those tiny little hot pants. I mean, I never thought that I would walk around in those.
That's
my ass is out.
Okay, so let me ask you though, when you talk about this toxic Harley Quinn community, are those ladies plus size as well?
No.
So
those, and you usually get like comments like, "Oh, Harley isn't fat," and I'm like, "I'm not fat. I'm plus size."
No. I'm sorry.
And usually, I like when I got a comment, I usually like before I used to talk back to them and like, "Oh, mommy didn't take you for Chuck E. Cheese," like Harley would say. But now I would be like, I'm just reporting them and deleting them because I don't care anymore. I don't care. I mean, why would they like, I'm just thinking like they have such sad lives to be able to sit on a stranger's Instagram and comment this. It's just sad. And when it's like children, you're like, oh God, I would never teach my child this. I mean, we have so many like trolls out there, and they are there to destroy you, and they try and they try and they try, and they never got to me anymore. So, but before I used to like cry to my mom and like, I got hate, oh my God. And I used to have this like anonymous thingy when you could write. What was it called, Sahara or something? And then I got like, why are you together with your brother? And I'm like, excuse me? I'm not together with my brother. And they try to get me that way instead. And I'm like, And then I changed boyfriend, and they still wrote that. And I'm like, oh my God, this person is stupid.
Yeah. So at what point or what happened to make you finally say, this isn't about me, this is about this sad person on the other side of this screen, and be able to just, you know, shut them out from your brain?
I think it was after my first photo shoot as Squad Harley, and I went into the subway in Sweden then, in Stockholm, where I live, and we have this like old town, old Stockholm, and they're like really perfect environment for a photo shoot. And I was in the subway, and I was with my photographer, and I was just feeling confident in this cosplay. And I have this entire group of people looking at me from this like gymnasium class that's like, I don't know, high school or college or something. And they were just looking at me, and and I just felt like they didn't say anything bad to me. And like, I even had like guards walking past me, and then the police came, and I was like, it's plastic, I swear. So I was like, and they were just saying that, you look gorgeous. And I'm like, oh, thank you. And it was just like getting that attention and just getting approval from people, actually from my own country. It would be like, and then I went to the con, and it would be, people wanted pictures with me. I never thought that. When people came up to you and like, can I take a photo with you? And I'm like, really? Me? And I mean, it's just, and the confidence just grow and grow and grow. And then I was at the Funko Pop Europe like Instagram page because I bought a Funko Pop, and it was just this major thing for me. It was so tiny for them, but it was major for me to be on their story.
Yeah.
It was like Harley and Joker came here and bought this Funko Pop, and I was like, oh my God, we were on this. And people started featuring me on these pages, but now those pages are like toxic, I think.
Oh, the toxicity. That's great. I love that you had this so much positivity sent your way that it was like the thing that gave you armor against all the other stuff, because people find such anonymity online. It's so different when you're in real life. Don't you two agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, no. Oh, sorry.
No.
I've also had my fair share of comments and things like that, and you know, nobody would ever say those kinds of things to my face, and that's also kind of the reason I've stopped caring about them. Because I have so much fun when I'm at cons and when I'm out in public as dressed in cosplay, because people are so sweet and so kind and so nice, and I've never had those kind of reactions. And people online are just like have their claws out all the time. They're like angry. I always would tell myself that people are just jealous of me, and I'd be like, oh.
That's a good advice though.
But they have to be in some way. They see you and they think, oh, like, why is this person so happy? Like, it makes me mad that somebody's happy and posting photos of themselves looking cute. Oh, I'm so mad. Like, that has to be their mindset for them to go on a page and comment that kind of thing, or to go onto a website and anonymously comment stuff. Because I also have like an anonymous page where I allow, usually it's for like people who are nervous to DM me or something like that. But you know, that's also unfortunately like a place that hatred really kind of festers.
Oh, so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that it must touch something, like you guys said, inside them. Either they want to do what you're doing and they're afraid, or they don't think they're good enough, or they have some kind of insecurity or hatred of themselves, and they spew it out at you guys because you're doing the thing that's kind of like holding a mirror up to them, a reflection of them. Yeah. What advice would you give to someone who wants to start cosplaying, but maybe they're afraid of the negativity, or they're afraid that they wouldn't be good enough or something like that? Matt, we'll start with you.
Don't hold back. You know, for a long time, like, I held back from cosplaying characters that might have worn something too revealing, or maybe I was like, you know, for a long time I didn't want to cosplay any sort of Disney princess or any sort of, like, you know, small person, because I thought that it would make me look bad, or like people would think that I look ugly because of what I look like. And that's not the case. You know, there are so many supportive people. If you're plus size, if you are, you know, disabled, if you're trans, if you're a person of color, you know, there are so many cosplayers out there that are just like you and that you can follow, that you can look at. That's what really helped me also build confidence, is following those people that, you know, look like me or were diverse, because it shows that cosplay is not just one gender, one type, one skin tone, you know, one body type. It's like a rainbow. It's like so big, it's beautiful, it's diverse, it's so much fun. And I think that's the best advice I can give, is just to not let that kind of thing in your mind block you from having so much fun.
Oh, I love that. I absolutely love that. Dark, how about you? What would you say to someone who's been holding back, or they're afraid to even start?
Well, I would probably say just do it, because I mean, they were gonna have a lot of fun with cosplaying, and as long as there's no trolls, they would be like, I mean, I'm so happy in cosplay when I'm in, like, I haven't been in cosplay now for like almost a year because of, well, the COVID-19 and stuff, and no cons and everything. And I put on this cosplay now, and I'm like, I'm beautiful. God, I'm beautiful. And I'm like, it's so much fun cosplay. And now I really want to, like, go out and just, like, take photos, but it's dark outside and we have no snow. So I really want snow as Elsa. But yeah, I mean, just do it. And I get, like, DMs sometimes, like, people look up to me, and I would be, like, really surprised. But some people are just, like, saying to me, like, thank you for cosplaying, and thank you for being you, and just, you made me want to cosplay. And I'm like, can you give me an advice? And I'm like, yeah, don't care about what people say. I mean, they don't know you. They're just strangers online.
Yeah.
And I see so many people get hate, and it just makes me so mad. But I still don't answer them, because that's what they want. They want you to answer them. They want to be able to tell you, like, you're ugly. They want to tell you you're fat. Or the worst thing I ever been called, Burger Quinn. I was like, are you for real? And then I asked him if he didn't go to Chuck E. Cheese on his 6th birthday. And he asked me, what are you talking about? And I'm like, you know what I'm talking about.
You tell me.
I mean, I don't get hate as Elsa. I never get hate as Elsa. As Harley Quinn, yes.
You know, I think Harley Quinn, especially for men, is a very polarizing character. I think that, you know, she doesn't care what people think. She takes charge. She doesn't try to please anyone. Maybe you could, you know, say maybe the Joker or whatever, but she just kind of, she uses personality as a power. And I think sometimes men don't know what to do with that.
Well, the funny thing is, when someone says, you're not the real Harley Quinn, and then I did actually answer, well, you know, she's fiction, right? Nobody is Harley Quinn. Or when you get compared to another cosplayer, like, oh, she's so much better than you. And I'm like, she's the real Harley Quinn. And I'm like, no, not even Margot Robbie is the real Harley Quinn. Come on. She's fiction.
Very good.
Like Elsa, she's fiction. I mean, she's from a book from the beginning. And she was supposed to be evil.
Right. Absolutely. Well, good for you, because, like we said, those people, they just have something going on inside that they just can't seem to keep their traps shut.
Yeah, but to people who really wants to start cosplay, just do it, because you're going to have a blast. And just go to a con, and if they don't want to cosplay, go to a con anyway, because it's so much fun at cons.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm so happy at cons, and even when I have my baby, I'm going on cons.
Good for you.
Well, not in labor,
right.
All right. So like I said, guys, I'm going to put links in the description below to their different Instagram accounts. But before we sign off, is there anything you want people watching the video to know, Matt? Where to find you or anything you have going on?
My Instagram is mtgret. And just remember that cosplay has play in the word. So this is all for fun. That's why I have a piece of plastic on my head.
How about you, Dark? Where should people find you?
Well, I'm only on Instagram. Well, I am on Facebook too, but they need to find me for that. But anyway, I changed my name to Dark Angel Cosplay.
Excellent. Well, thank you both so much for joining me today. You had such amazing wisdom and advice for people. I know that they're going to be excited to see this.
Thank you.
It was very much fun.
Thanks.